What's up, guys? I just realized as I'm editing the interviews that I forgot to mention, or actually do an intro. But um, these next few videos, or these next few parts of the series that I'm uploading is going to be maybe two or three parts. That's going to include a few people that I went through BMT with and got to know the past couple of months, and then fortunate enough to everyone was within the same career field, and then we all arrived here at our tech school. So we've been able to experience a lot of it together the past almost 4 months. So these videos are gonna be a little bit longer, maybe 30, 40 minutes. Pretty much what I've done is ask them questions based on before BMT, during BMT, and after BMT. And then the reason why I decided to do this because everyone comes from a different walk of life, and I wanted to see what their mentality was going through or choosing the Air Force or going to the military, what their life was before joining the Air Force, or if the Air Force was part of their family, if they had any experience with family being in the military, and pretty much what their why was. And then I picked their brain a little bit. So some of the questions would be a little bit repetitive per person. There's gonna be a couple people that have families or have children or married or plan to be married. And then I asked them different questions based on that. So if you're curious about what their mentality was going into the Air Force with a family or a wife or a husband, etc., then you pretty much get like an idea about that. But if there is other questions you guys want to ask either to me or to the other people in this interview, just comment down below, and then I can make a follow-up video, because I may not have not really the answer, but the capacity to answer all those questions if you guys either decide to get married, how like BAH works, or how does flying or transferring or bringing your wife along with you, etc., or your husband along with you through the military, how all that works. So the other people in this video might have that answer for you, but yeah, feel free to send a message, and then maybe I'll do a follow-up video, or maybe I could do it on social media and stuff as well. But yeah, this is gonna be a little bit different from what the usual videos will be. It's a lot longer, like I said, but I hope you guys enjoy, and thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later. Enjoy. Did you grow up wanting to be or dream part of the military? If not, what changed?
Did I grow up wanting to be? Originally, no. I never had a thought, or would have even thought I'd be like cut out for military life. Obviously, being a man, growing up, we all have those little like I wanna be a soldier. You're playing Call of Duty with the dual wields, but up to the point like where I am now, like me being 27, like I never would have thought I'd be sitting in a recruiter's office. It's definitely a surprise for me. It's hard to explain. It's one of those things, especially when you get older, you'll reach a point in life where you just feel stuck. Like you'll have I have a degree. I had a pretty okay job. I was making pretty good money. I had my dream car at the time, but still I felt stuck. And no matter the amount of trips I take to Canada or Japan, whatever, to distract myself, I still felt locked in, I guess.
Question 2. When you made your decision for the Air Force, did you do any research on the Air Force? Did you watch any videos? Did you read any articles but prepare yourself for BMT? And if you did it depict BMT as they said it or as you watched it? And as you're experiencing BMT, did your demeanor change, or your mentality throughout the whole thing from the articles and videos that you read?
I'm the type to do a lot of research. I immediately go on Google, Reddit, what have you. I'm the type of guy, if something's going on, I immediately do research on it. Like that joke, if you don't find it on Reddit,
yeah.
Good luck. But yeah, I did a lot of research. I looked up the process. I looked up what MEPS is like. I looked up what BMT is like. I looked up BMT packing lists and videos and everything. What I found through my research is that a lot of it's really sporadic. There's never any like singular answer. I remember one time like I would see one packing list for BMT and then another packing list that'd be completely different, like conflicting stuff. Because it's really like opinionated, I want to say, like which I think in a way it's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Everyone's experience is unique. So I mean, I don't want to say like just jump into it blind. That's never a good thing. Like if you're the type of person that wants to get a little bit of research in, definitely do that. I feel like the stuff I did look up for BMT kind of did help. Don't take stuff seriously. There's always going to be a lot of dumbasses, no matter where you go. Whoever does get put in charge, you know, let them
figure it out.
Let them do their thing. Let them figure it out. Don't take it seriously. A lot of people, me like being 27, like obviously I just want to go under the radar. Right off the bat when we got off the bus, there were so many like people that like I want to be in charge. Like you can tell that they were fiending for it.
Yeah.
Guy, he was like 18. He was like, you could tell that he wanted to be dorm chief so bad. Like I remember he would yell out key check every like fucking hour and shit. Over the course of BMT, that guy was as quiet as a mouse. Like I don't know.
He was just like all talk.
He was like all talk, and he just like got that little light got snuffed out. Like it's not like they don't like crush you, but it's like people who want to be leaders, like that are fake, they definitely get snuffed out real quick.
Yeah. So from the videos that you saw on BMT and articles that you read, now that you've experienced BMT, would there be anything that you would let other people know, like advice or things to do before they either go to MEPS or their mentality going into BMT? Like, don't follow those videos and try to have an open mind with everything. And like you said, like the MTIs there are there to teach you pretty much how they're trying to separate you from being a civilian and then get ready for these military standards, I would say, or these regulations and things that you guys would learn. So my recruiter was always saying, don't take it too seriously if they're all up in your face, if they're they can't really cuss at you. Some of them do, but they're kind of laid back a little bit more depending what squadron you have.
There's one sergeant that did not follow that rule.
Yeah, we had a couple of MTIs over there that did not care. But yeah, don't take it too seriously if they're all up in your face. And if you want to be a leader, then feel free to step up. When people ask, hey, we need someone to do this, feel free to step up. It eventually will help you later on because it could go on your record. I know at our when we're getting our orders for our tech schools, they give us like a little report card for BMT, and then on there your MTIs will give you like little notes or remarks saying, hey, this person did this and they helped so and so. So if you do, and if you're scared or if you're shy, there's a lot of things you can do in BMT to really have yourself stand out. It could be, I don't know, you could do laundry if you wanted to. That you don't really have to interact with people. You don't really have to talk to people.
Laundry.
I think the hardest things to not really join, but to like apply for, I guess, as like a leadership position, maybe like a chow runner.
Chow runner, yeah. PT lead,
like
you
things
just
like that.
Stand in front during PT and like mimic the things.
You lead your whole flight pretty much, or your whole on PT days.
Guide on bear. Well, that's a hard one.
Yeah, if you've had ROTC before, or if you like drill, maybe guide on bear would probably be good for you, because then you pretty much lead the whole flight.
But don't be a know-it-all.
Yeah.
Don't be. That's the last. That goes in like with research. Like no matter everything you look up, and all the little things that you think you know, do not be a know-it-all when you pull up to BMT. There's this one guy in our flight who was like, oh, I know what to do. I was in JRTC. The sergeants, as soon as they picked up on that, my man never spoke a word towards the end of the weeks. Like, it's good to be prepared, but please don't be a know-it-all.
Yeah.
Like, go with the flow. Like he said, sergeants, like, they're trying to make sure that we're all on the same page as a team. So, like, if you're over here thinking that, like, you already know something and you kind of, like, trickle it down to everybody else, like, oh, I don't need your help, I already know what to do.
Yeah, because the way currently people either learn in the past or what they think their standards are nowadays is going to be completely different from what the current military standards are going to be. So if you think you're a know-it-all and you're teaching everyone else what you know, eventually they might call you out and say that it's wrong because there's a new standard for it. And so the MTIs are going to teach you the correct or the proper way to do it than the way that you probably would have learned it a few months ago or a few years back in your RTC days or things like that. What is your plan for the Air Force? Is it long-term or just temporary? Or are you still within that gray phase of trying to figure it out, go to operational, see how you feel about it, and then you'll like making a further decision later on down there?
Gray phase. I like that word. Because my name is Gray. But I'm definitely in the gray zone, I feel. I only signed up for 4 years.
They try to catch you for 6.
They try to catch you for 6.
That's another thing too. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. When you're going through your processing paperwork at MEPS and BMT, make sure you read everything. Don't sign everything just saying, yeah. Please read, because sometimes the people there that are helping you, they've had long days, and sometimes they'll just blast through it pretty quick, and you don't know what you're signing. So
there's a lot of paperwork.
There's a lot of paperwork that you got to keep track of. So try to read as best you can. Have them, always ask questions. Don't just, all because they're there 24/7, that they know everything and they know everything about you. But if you don't understand something, please ask questions, because they'll clear it up with you. Because he could have been in here for six years when he initially signed up for 4 years, and I would have screwed him over if he didn't if he didn't catch it in time.
Definitely read. Don't just sign everything, even if you're tired. Like when I read my contract. I think you read it 4 times.
About 4 times.
4 times throughout like your whole thing. You do it once in MEPS, another time before you get shipped out to BMT, and 2 more times when you're in BMT. And the first 3 times it said 4 years, but the last time at BMT is when it said 6 years. And if I hadn't read it that last time, I would have been locked in for 6 years. And I would have.
If it wasn't the Air Force, where do you think you would be right now? Did you have a backup before you joined the Air Force?
Damn. If I wasn't in the Air Force right now, I would probably still be at my my counselor job at the psych ward. I'm sure eventually I would have like gotten pretty tired of it. As for a backup plan, I mean,
you think you would have stayed in like a medical field at that point, or do you think you would have switched into like a transition to something else?
I probably would have tried to like explore my like options of what I can like branch out to, which probably would involve going back to school or doing more trainings and shit, which obviously equals more loans and all that. Damn, like honestly, I feel like I would have just kept on going through it and struggling, hating jobs, this and that. It's a weird question. Damn, I haven't given it much thought.
Interview from Greyth, Airman Greyth.
Airman Greyth.
Yeah, we've been through BMT. I slept next to this guy for like 2 months. Thank you, Greyth, for the interview. All right, so this is our second interview. I have Airman First Class Deverell here. This dude's amazing. I think we've connected over the past few months, and we've kept in touch. Yeah, he's just a super great guy. But,
appreciate that.
Yeah.
I think you are too.
Yeah.
I think really quick, our first we slept very close to each other. I think you're two beds up.
Yeah, Greyth was in between us.
Greyth was in between us all the time, so that guy is. But yeah, no, when he had to go to what was it?
Medical.
Yeah, medical.
At the hospital.
And they selected me to be his wingman to go, and it was a Monday, and I'm like, dang, I don't want to miss out on anything. At first, I was kind of like, I don't really want to go, but then we were there for about 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
It was the Monday right after the 49ers and the Lions played. Yeah. So I think it was like the championship round of NFL football. So got to sit in the lobby and watch sports for the 2 to 4 hours that we were there. But even besides that, just talking with him and getting a feel of what he was about, his previous experiences. It's good to connect with people while you're kind of isolated from the rest of the world and from your family and everything. And I think we hit it off right off the bat once we had that day, for sure.
Yeah, the day was pretty stressful. I was there because I had issues with my heart and lungs because of the PT test, but that was like initially because that was like right after 0 week or so. That was like first or second week, I think. Yeah. And then, yeah, that PT test really threw me off, but I'm doing better now. So yeah, I'm gonna ask you a series of questions similar to Greyth's. Yeah, feel free to open mind, whatever you need to.
Yeah, of course.
Feel free to ramble. First question, Did you grow up wanting to be or to be part of the military? If not, what changed?
I didn't grow up necessarily like I know people from middle school and high school who grew up like they wore camos to school and like you knew that those people wanted to be in the military, right? Like I didn't grow up that way at all, but both my grandfathers were in the Korean War. My mother's dad was in the Army. He did a stint in Korea in the 50s, and then my father's father, he was in the Marines, and he did his stint in Korea as well. So I grew up with that background of like respecting the military, understanding the values and everything the discipline. That was probably the biggest thing that I took away from the military, from both of my grandfathers. Then I played sports. I played football, and I think football, you have to be very disciplined. It's yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. I think there's a lot of parallels when it comes to football as well. Teamwork.
Customs and courtesies, pretty much.
Exactly. Yeah. So I could relate to the military side in that aspect. Like I said, both grandfathers. Then my experience with football, and then once I got older, no, I totally didn't ever think about joining the military. Not one bit. I thought I was gonna go to college, get my degree, work in my field, and then open up my own business. And you know, I was naive to how much school cost. My bachelor's that I got was paid for through financial aid, so I was in no debt from that. But when I went to go sign up for grad school, and I saw the $40,000 to $100,000, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not doing this. While I was doing my bachelor's, my sister, she joined the Air Force in 2015.
That's right. Yeah.
Yep. So super proud of her for doing what she did, and it kind of got my mind wondering about it, but I still said, no, I don't want to give up my freedoms, right? And then when I graduated college, like I said, didn't want to pay for that debt, and she was the one who kind of said, hey, maybe you should check out officer, OTS.
OTS, yeah.
And so I tried to start looking into that route, and I was actually talking to an officer recruiter in 2019, and then COVID hit, slowed everything down, and I put it on the back burner. So to go back to the beginning of the question, did I ever think about it growing up? Not necessarily as something that I wanted to do with life, always respected it, but as I got older, kind of seen that there was definitely some benefits and the avenues that opened up for people's lives was positive. So I took it a little bit more serious. A couple years down the line after I graduated college, here I am. I enlisted just due to circumstances within my own life, and you know, I think I feel like I made the right choice for me and my family at this point. Super young into our career right now, but you know, we'll see how it goes.
You never know how it might grow into.
Yep, exactly.
So if it wasn't the Air Force, what business route would you have taken?
So actually, before the Air Force, my stepdad, he bought a Peterbilt and put me in it. I got my CDL. You know, we opened up our own business, started our own business, and thought that was going to be the route because I wanted to stop working for somebody else and I wanted to be my own boss. He's an electrician. He opened up his own business, and he's done fabulous for himself and for our family. So I thought, you know, why not, you know, be my own boss? So I did that for about 6 months, but I had a lot of troubles with it. Not that I couldn't do the job, it just wasn't for me, wasn't making me happy. Didn't think that I could actually do this for my whole life. So yeah, before actually making, that kind of pushed me in the direction of joining the military because I was just like, look, I can't do this the rest of my life. So I didn't want to be 40 and look back and say, I wish I would have joined the military or tried it out for 4 years at least and see where it took me from there. So yeah.
That's respectable. Cool. Okay. Question 2. When you made your decision for the Air Force, did you do any research? Did you watch any videos? Did you read articles to prepare yourself mentally or physically for BMT? And from those videos and articles that you've either read or watched, was it exactly what they depicted? Or as you experienced it, it was a totally different mentality going into it after that?
Yeah, no, I think like Greyth said, like Christian said over there, like Loki said over there. I like to do a lot of research before I kind of dive into something. So Watched a ton of videos on YouTube, read a lot on Reddits and Google and whatnot. No, definitely the videos worked, helped out a whole lot. I think it prepared me to kind of feel comfortable going in. Obviously, once you get there, everything goes out the window. It's like the Mike Tyson saying, right? Like everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face. When you first, when I first left my family, for me, I'm 31, I've got a wife, I've got a son. When I first left my family, that was the biggest punch in the face, right? And then everything just kept going from there. It's like, said goodbye to them at the hotel, went and stayed at the hotel before MEPS. I'm like, damn, this is getting real. About to really be gone and join the military.
Yeah.
So I went through that whole process, kind of saying, damn, should I really have done this? Should I have left my family? But then in the back of my mind, I was kind of like, you know, I think it'll work out for the long run and whatnot. But watching videos on YouTube helped me because I actually looked up like older people in BMT for the Air Force, right? And I came across this one video where this guy, he was 33 or something like that, had a family as well, and kind of was like, you know, for older folks, you kind of get looked up to. You kind of, you're a peer leader in a sense. You have the life experience, so you can help out the younger kids that are there. And I think at first, when I was the first couple of weeks, I kind of was doing my own thing, just surveying the field, seeing where all the chess pieces were going to lay on the board, kind of keeping that guy in the back of my mind. So for sure, that video that I watched, like, stuck with me the whole time that I was there.
Yeah.
Other than that, I had the DEP app, and it tells you what to pack. It tells you when the first night that you get there, you're going to get a backpack that has, you know, a list of stuff in it that's going to be 188 bucks deducted right from your check as soon as you get there.
Yeah.
So obviously that's true. The first night you get there, you get all your gear, your pens, paper, pencil, or not pencils, but pens and highlighters and markers and whatnot, your other gear that you're going to need while you're there. So I think it helped me for sure to be prepared those the first couple days. What prepared me is this girl did a video, and she said the first day she was up for 36 or 38 hours.
Yeah.
Our first day that we were there, so we wake up at 3 o'clock for MEPS. I also took off from LA like these guys. Long story short is we stayed up the rest of that day, which ended up being about 42, 43 hours, which I was somewhat prepared for. Like, I knew that was going to happen because of that video, but you're not prepared for it until you actually are in that situation. I mean, we're sitting there, and I mean, every second you're dozing off, like trying to keep your eyes awake. But yeah, videos definitely helped me. Research helped me. The DEP app helped me with what I should pack and whatnot.
What is your plan for the Air Force? Are you thinking of doing long term, or is it temporary, or are you in that same boat of in that gray area trying to figure things out, see how these 4 years will go, or as you go operational, you think that will change?
I think only time will tell. I came in originally, I'm 31 again, so my original plan is like if I could do 20 years and retire at 51, then that's 10 years before my mother, my father, my grandpa didn't retire until he was 65. So that's 15 years, right, where I could have a pension and a lot of benefits from the military. Now, can I last 20 years in the military? I don't know. Only time will tell. Like, one thing that stuck with me was our processing sergeant, Sergeant Moreno. She said, like, a lot of people don't really know whether they want to stay in until about after the first year of actually being in operational and seeing what it's like and whatnot. My job is, from what I know, is kind of like a high deployment or high TDY. Like I said, I've got a wife, a son, and my wife is pregnant. So, do I really want to be away from my family while I'm building my family right now? That's going to be a big factor. I understand what I signed up for, but I don't want to miss too much of my child and family's lives. So we will see. But I also know that I would be doing it for them to make their lives in the long run a lot better, as long with mine and my wife's as well. So I think it's just going to be a thing where only time will tell.
Time will tell.
Yeah, for sure.
Since you're married and building your family into this different lifestyle, what is the hardest thing currently you and your wife face?
Well, the hardest thing is being away from each other. I mean, we worked together for like 2 years before I came into the Air Force, and before she got pregnant. So we were literally together for 24/7, night to day, day to night. And then once we had our son back in 2023, I was still working. She was at home, but every day that I get home, you know, it's like she's there with my son. So being away from each other is the hardest thing. On top of that, she's pregnant right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that makes it even harder with the hormones and the stress and the, you know, just
going through it pretty much day by day.
Yeah, by herself in a sense. Like, yeah, now we have our phones, so we're able to communicate. We FaceTime, and that stuff makes it all good, but it just ain't the same as being in person with somebody and having that touch and stuff like that. So we know that the biggest thing is we know that there's a plan for all of this, and like we got to put up with all of these
small little sacrifices.
Small sacrifices for the larger, you know, gain in the long run. So we try and keep in touch every day, obviously, and try and keep that in mind that everything is all working out for the better.
Yeah. Thank you, Airman First Class Deverell.
Yes, sir.
We'll probably do more follow-ups as the months go by. We'll see.
It.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll see how your mentality changes throughout the next few months once we're almost through tech school and everyone graduates and leaves. So we'll see.
Yep, about a month left until I get up out of here.
All right. Cool.
Airman First Class Coloso?
Yes, sir.
Right on. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. The rest of the guys in the interview, trauma bonded with this guy for the past 3 months. Yeah. Perez is also a great guy. Met him through BMT. Trauma bonded, like I said. I actually met him on the bus on the way to BMT.
I was lucky enough to sit next to this guy.
Yeah. Same thing. I was stuck between him and Greyth in the bunks. Bunch of fools. I was such a quiet kid. I don't know what happened to me. I was so innocent back then. But yeah, feel free to introduce yourself. Say a couple things about yourself.
All right. I'm Airman Perez. I'm 24 years old. I don't know why I'm here.
Did you grow up wanting or dreaming to be part of the military? If not, what changed and why the Air Force?
I don't think I've ever grew up thinking about it. I never really wanted to join it. I never really had any idea. The only reason that I really thought about joining the military was because my older brother, he joined the Army and he was always talking to me. I worked in restaurants for about 10 years at this point, and I started working in restaurants when I was like 14. So I started young, and I always moved up from top there to being like just a good worker, I guess you can say. And I never really had a dream to do anything. I mean, I was a kid growing up in New York City that never wanted to do anything, and I started working honestly too young. So I kind of just heard about the military, never was interested in school or whatever, and I kind of just lived my life floating along. And I think that's the main way that I describe myself as. I kind of just roll along with the punches of life, and I ended up hearing about the military and kept it on the back burner for a while. My brother joined the military, like I said. He joined the Army, and he was always telling me after he left, because he wasn't part of the reserve, like, you should join, the benefits are crazy good, you know, you always have health care, you'll pay for your college afterwards, and such, all of these other things. And I never really minded. I'm like, oh, cool. I feel like I thought I was making enough money living in New York City, working in restaurants, and it is good money, but it's not enough to live in New York City.
Yeah.
It's whatever. And at some point, I guess I got tired of doing it all. Like, it was just a repetition of going to work, getting upset, going out, getting home, doing the same thing over and over again. I was tired of it.
Stuck in like a same old routine that you just felt stuck in your own little
absolutely.
bubble.
And I could either drive myself into places that I wouldn't want to be in, and I have at that point. And I was just like, you know what? I think I looked at the Air Force video like once. My brother said, like, join the Air Force? I'm like, yeah, sure, I guess. And then I looked at one video and like, you know what? 30 seconds later, I'm like, cool, I think I'm gonna do this. And I just applied for it. So it was never really, was I gonna join the Air Force? No, I just was like, yeah, you know what?
It was on a whim. You wanted to try it out, see what would happen.
Exactly.
Did your brother try to like push you towards like the Army, or did he say, if you're gonna join the military, try the Air Force first, or do the Air Force first, things like that?
I think all of the military branches make fun of the Air Force for being easy. And I thought, meh, it's just the military anyways. We're all dogs of war. And I didn't really mind. I mean, I think it had the shortest boot camp, if I'm correct.
Yeah. 7.5 weeks compared to like 13, 14 weeks compared to the other ones.
Exactly. So I'm just like, you know what, let me give it a shot. I didn't know what was gonna happen, and I met my recruiter, and she told me these things, like, oh, you're gonna have a lot of fun. Oh, you know, take this test, and let's see how good you are at things. And I'm like, okay. So, you know, I'm taking information as it comes. I don't know about it all. I'm just like, okay, let me just get ready for it. mentally, but
You're just pretty much open-minded when you just like,
exactly.
let me give it a shot. Let me see what happens.
I'm a very open-minded person.
That's nice. When you made the decision to join the Air Force, did you do any research? Did you watch any videos? Did you read any articles, prepare yourself for BMT? Or were you just like pretty much open-minded? Let me just experience it however I experience it. Or did your brother tell you anything about his Army experience going through his BMT training or his basic training to like mentally prepare you or physically prepare you? Did you take any steps towards that? Or
Wow.
you just took it however it was?
Yeah, I can tell you exactly how it went. I think I was in my brother's studio apartment. He recently was getting ready to have a kid. And I was just sitting there and I'm like, damn, I gotta go to work later. I'm watching this video. My manager calls me and he's just like, oh, you're off for today. I'm like, oh, okay. I look at him, he's like, you should think about joining the Air Force. I'm like, okay. I watch one single video and I'm just sitting there. My brother goes to another room and I'm just like,
You know what? Let me do it.
yeah, you know what? Throws in the application and I'm like, okay, let me see what I can do. Right. Following days, I get a response. And I think I go to see the recruiter and she tells me all about it and I start signing paperwork. And all I did to prepare was just like, let me watch a few videos on BMT. Like all of these videos that you guys watch, you watch, probably the same exact thing. I watched the first 3 videos and I'm like, that's a whole lot of videos telling me the same thing. I mean, I never worked out. I never did any of that. And I'm just like, I don't know how to explain it. I'm kind of the guy that's just like, you know what? I don't want to ruin the surprise. Whatever happens at BMT, I don't want to know anything about it. You know what? I think it's like, I guess it's like watching trailers, stuff like that. Hate it. Never like watching them. Like, I don't care. I just got to know it exists. I just got to know BMT exists. I'm going to go in there and I want to experience pain. That's all
Experience pain.
That's all I know.
Mentally and physically. But I think the restaurant business probably actually helped you, especially being in Michelin star and like that professional higher setting than like regular restaurants or like fast food, things like that. Attention to detail and just like doing timelines, things like that, all the meticulous small things, probably really did help you out through BMT. Even like living next to you, even though you were messy, like you still cleaned up pretty well. He was quick getting to his OCPs in the morning. He left a lot of trash, but like at the end of the day, his shit was still pretty clean. Yeah, he's a dirty, dirty boy.
I was in the other airmen. I mean, you'd walk around some other airmen and be like, damn, they're still not done?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Like, you know, I wake up next to, say for example, next to you, next to Nagamine, next to Greyth and Deverell. And like, bro, all of you guys were done like that. And I just looked at myself, I'm like, damn, I'm late.
I know. We're supposed to wake up at 5:45 in the morning, and this fool would still probably be in bed till like 5:30 or like 5:20, while the rest of us were up like 5 o'clock, and we're like, bed's already made, brushed our teeth, and then I gotta like tap this guy, and they're like, yo, you got like 15 minutes left, wake up.
I get it done though. I mean, I get some help.
Yeah. Wake up, fucker, we gotta do dust down details.
We make it happen. You know, you
Yeah.
can't do BMT by yourself, and you guys definitely helped me not do it by myself.
You can answer this question a little bit more open. I know you're a little bit more open-minded, so you may not have really thought that far out. But this is the question for, was the Air Force going to be like a long-term career choice for you, or it's going to be temporary? Are you going to do your 4 years and then probably, I don't know, open up your own business or something like that, or probably get a college degree and then transition to something else? Or do you think you might re-enlist for like another 4 or 6 years and see where that takes you?
See, I think that's the best question to ask. Because like my answer to that question has been so malleable. You affected it, Greyth affected it, our MTIs, everything we've gone through has affected that question and its answers. Like, bro, I'm only 24. I enlisted for not very long, but like even in terms, if I was long term, like the way that the MTIs so passionately speak about being in the Air Force, how many of them used to escape what they were at, even though some maybe better, some maybe worse, whatever. And you know, everyone has their story. Whether or not I choose to stay 4 years, I signed up for a 4-year contract. So like, I mean, I was supposed to sign up for a 6-year contract. And as I went through the process, when I was signing that last paper, it was the opposite what happened to Greyth. He was supposed to sign up for a 4 and almost got signed to a 6. I was signing up for a 6 and he told me, here's a 4-year contract. You want to? I'm like, what? I thought I was, you know what? Never mind. I'm not even answering that. So far, everything that I've done, and like, for example, at MEPS, I don't know, something about that, just like, yo, you're making the right decision being here. Somehow something made you lucky enough to get another chance at not messing it up.
Now that we're about a month into tech school, what advice would you give people going into MEPS or about to go into BMT?
So when I was in the MEPS hotel and I met some kid, he didn't speak. He looked like a very active, a very social person, but he didn't speak at all. And he was, you can tell that he had a nervous energy around him. People are nervous about going to MEPS. People are nervous about doing all of this. Just don't worry about it. You're already signing the paper, and you're already probably signed on. You're gonna go. I mean, I had a great time. A lot of people don't have great times. Cool, but you know, life is what you make of it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm always happy no matter what. And even if you're a depressed person, there are people that are gonna be happy nonetheless. And you know, the tide takes all the ships, you know, as it rises. So just learn to live along. I know that I think in the military they say embrace the suck. I don't think it sucks. Like, if you really want to say it like that, I think you're just looking for a reason to.
How it is, pretty much.
There are 18-year-olds, 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds. You know, you find a little bit of everything, all walks of life, and you'll be able to enjoy new things. And in BMT, sure, it'll suck, but you know, you're gonna be talking to a bunch of other people and like moving
Other
forward.
people's cultures, because everyone's come from a different place, of course. So
It is a
it's
true
like
melting
a
pot.
melting pot of different people from different states that may not have experienced a lot of things that you may have, and then you just get to learn about other people's cultures and things like that. So it's pretty good to really think about that, because then you guys can really get down and talk to each other and really figure out what people's strengths and weaknesses are, and how you can turn that into pretty much a whole team effort to really like get through BMT. So
And essentially what you can take from them.
Exactly.
Like, not like to be rude, like what experiences you can take from them to make yourself feel better. Make everyone or everything just take that experience and be a better person. That's why you shouldn't be nervous. That's why you should be. I was ecstatic to do it. I think I was the only person smiling when we got off that bus.
yeah.
Because I'm just like, all right, let's do this. This is going to be great. I'm scared, but this is awesome.
If you didn't join the Air Force, where do you think you would be right now?
In the streets, on the gut.
Did you have a backup, if anything like that? I know you're really open-minded, so you probably would have just taken life as it is and see what other opportunities would have presented itself for you. But same thing, what I asked Greyth, if you're already maybe halfway through our BMT training, if you got like medically discharged or something like that, physically or mentally, do you think you would have a backup plan when you get back home? Or was this like your only option at the time, and this was almost like not really your last effort to like really make something for yourself, but to really put yourself in that next step, either mentally or physically, to keep pushing forward?
I think for better or for worse, I'd probably still be working
Go
at
back
a
to the restaurant, yeah.
Like, I'd still be making New York money, and I think I'd still be spending it all too. Like, it's just, I don't think anything would have changed. I think that's the exact problem that I would have been at still then and there. Like, I had no discipline, that lack of discipline altogether, not knowing how to spend my money. Like, I probably learned a lot more about money because you talked to me,
Yeah.
and how to not be dumb with it.
Reckless with it, yeah.
Yeah, and like, I don't know. It's just like, I don't think I could have ever done anything more. I've always talked about going to college, always dreamed about doing something more, opening my business. Like, I would want to open a business, and I don't think would have never reached such a place where I can do it. I mean, my brother want to do it, but like, if I kept doing what I did, if I kept just chasing money, I guess, and not as hungry as I would for people who like really go out there and chase it. Yeah. It's more about just getting it, and I don't think I would have been any better. Like, I had I guess you could say it's fun being at restaurants, because you get to go out, you make a lot of friends. I met a lot of foreigners, and we'll go out drinking with them. And honestly, I probably could have ended up doing the same thing I always did, where just waking up at like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, or 1 o'clock because I was out too late at night.
Yeah.
And I mean, nothing really would have changed for me. And honestly, that's where
You'd just be happy that you experienced that portion of the Air Force and say that at least I tried it, instead of like not doing it at all.
Exactly.
And then just going back to regular life at that point, pretty much.
Yeah, but at least now that I joined the Air Force, I'm like, even if I do serve my 4 years and I leave and I do my restaurant thing again, and I'm gonna be able to, I know I have the discipline.
Yeah.
I have the thoughts. I can look back at you guys, at the discipline I learned at BMT, all of these great things that I took from
skills and
here.
traits that we took from BMT,
Yeah,
reapply it back into that life again.
Even if I go back to a restaurant, I know I'm gonna be a leader there.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. I already was a leader back in the day, but now I can stand up straight and talk to people.
Yeah.
And I know I still have that respect. That, I think one of the things they told us is, once you leave BMT, you're not gonna know that you're walking around with a much more distinct feeling about yourself. And it's a very true thing. And now that you're gonna have that in your daily life after the fact, is probably the best part about it.
Yeah.
I think it's you yourself have gone through your own metamorphosis that you don't really see it until you act it. And now, once you start embodying the feeling of being in the Air Force, I'm just really happy that I'm here. I don't think I'm ever gonna regret it. And
That's cool.
doing everything that I want to do is gonna be great. And I mean, keeping you guys.
Keep in contact with us pretty much, and what we've been through pretty much.
What we trauma bonded
We're
through.
trauma bonded through. Anyways, yeah, that's our interview with Airman Perez. Thank you, man. Probably the same thing. Me and him are here for a couple more months, so you'll probably see him in more videos. Yeah, thanks for watching the video. I have a couple more people for next week. I know everyone's pretty busy. All of our schedules are different. But I'll probably have maybe 3 or 4 other people from my flight, from BMT, come up here. I'll ask them similar questions. Or I'll probably switch it up next week, we'll see. And you guys will meet them. So, laters.
Bye.